Some enemies are built to challenge and impress. These guys are not those enemies. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 pathetic video game foes. Are you a fan of this video? Be sure to subscribe to catch our latest show, The Bolts at E3. 4 gamers take an epic road trip from San Fran to LA, gaming all the way. Watch the whole series now on WatchMojo. Today we're diving into gaming's wide history to pinpoint those video game adversaries that are most consistently used as common enemies with little to no survival instincts. Be they undead servants or oversized insects, these villainous creatures and beings prove that sometimes the universe is very cruel indeed. Number 10, Grunts, Halo series. Known among the other Covenant Empire races as the Ungoi, these diminutive little aliens prove little more than a minor nuisance. Grunts tend to be sent out in groups, fleeing from firefights should their group leader be killed. Besides this tendency towards cowardice, the Grunts are also fairly frail and serve largely as replaceable cannon fodder whenever the Covenant shows up to cause trouble. With very limited strategic capabilities and a habit of killing themselves with their own grenades, the threat posed by Grunts is negligible in most situations. Number 9, Slime, Dragon Quest series. Teardrop-shaped and always sporting a goofy smile, there's a certain charm to the dopey appearance of the slime. They act as recurring foes in Dragon Quest games that, while occasionally taking on different attributes and abilities, remain consistently easy to best in a fight. Slimes lack the means to substantially harm others or defend themselves, ensuring that they are slain rather quickly in battle. Further, their abundance in the wild makes it so the player will likely encounter many slimes over the course of each game, racking up a sizable body count in the process. Number 8, the Hollows, Dark Souls series. If it weren't clear enough before, being undead isn't exactly fun. Yet that's the existence faced by Hollows, poor souls left in a state of limbo between life and death. Looking pretty emaciated, these zombie-esque beings are encountered quite early in all Dark Souls games, and are killed off with incredible ease. Some Hollows may be found carrying weapons, but in general, they attempt to strike out at the players with their bare hands. Their slim figure and lack of armor, or sufficient shielding, make sure that any attempt by a Hollow to fight is quickly squashed. Number 7, Poo Snakes, Blue Dragon. A silly name for a silly enemy. Resembling a perfectly formed pile of excrement, the Poo Snakes are ridiculous and difficult to take seriously, even before any actual fighting begins. Once faced in battle though, these purple reptiles reinforce their status as one of the weakest enemies showcased in Blue Dragon. The Poo Snakes have 2 moves at their disposal, one of which being a means of summoning more Poo Snakes. Charming though they may be, it's clear that the Poo Snakes aren't really intended as major threats to the players. Number 6, Met, Mega Man series. Since the first Mega Man game, the Met robots stood out with their quaint little hard hat adorned design and their ability to hide between firing shots. However, what they have in creativity is lost in their middling resistance to Mega Man's weapons. The Mets can be taken out in one hit when they're not hidden. While their attack pattern of shooting 3 diverging bullets does lend them some means of repelling foes, the Mets remain fundamentally weak in every subsequent appearance they make. Those hard hats can't save them forever after all. Number 5, Infantry, Dynasty Warriors series. Well, I guess you gotta have something or someone to throw endlessly at players. From Dynasty Warriors 2 onward, this historically inspired series of hack-and-slash games focused primarily on offering wave after wave of nameless enemies in between major battles. These infantry provide the foundation for the series' combat, being disposable and extremely quick to slay. So, here I go. Merely a few strikes from a player's weapons will cut down infantry in their tracks, the ease of which is made more noticeable by infantry units rarely defending themselves. But on the other hand, it's relatively satisfying to be the one doing the slaying.
So you would face me in battle.
Number 4, Radroaches, Fallout series. Encountered by the lone wanderer on his 10th birthday in Vault 101, Radroaches make their mark as a surprisingly large, heavily mutated variant of the American cockroach. Much like their real-world counterparts, though, Radroaches are able to survive levels of radiation that humans cannot, though that doesn't contribute much to their overall survival. These mutant insects can be beaten to death simply with one's fists, mostly protected by a mere 5 hit points. It only takes one bullet or melee attack, or even sometimes a couple of BBs to put these creatures down for good. Number 3. Goombas, Super Mario Bros. Series. Whoever said that sentient brown fungi couldn't be adorably incompetent? Although able to adapt to various types of terrain in the Mario games, the mushroom-esque adversaries known as Goombas lack basic defense measures. They can only attack by walking back and forth into enemies, can be flattened to death when jumped on, and are particularly weak to the ravages of fire magic. Exasperating all of this is their implied lack of intelligence, as disguises like the Goomba mask have often proven effective against them. Thank goodness that they're amusing little ne'er-do-wells, or they truly would be completely pitiful. Number 2, Glass Joe, Punch-Out series. Oh Joe, how you try so hard yet fail so frequently. Joe first appeared in the original Punch-Out arcade game, where he was established as being a notably mediocre boxer hailing from Paris, France. The reason for his middling reputation soon becomes clear when the fighting commences. Joe's easily knocked down and out during matches, due to his weak physical build and poor reflexes.
1, 2, 3.
Even as the games have progressed, Joe has usually been called upon to act as a tutorial combatant, somewhat explaining the easiness with which he's dispatched.
Hey! TKO!
Before we get to our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Magikarp, Pokemon series. Fans of this series are likely all too familiar with the pitiful creature that is known as Magikarp, the 129th Pokemon in the National Pokedex. This fish-like Pokemon has one of the lowest base stat totals in the series' history, being notably deficient in both health and attack power. What's worse, Magikarp starts out with only one move at its disposal, Splash, which does no damage and has no effect on opponents whatsoever. Being a water type, he's naturally weak against grass and electric, but that barely matters since almost any strong attack can take him out easily, regardless of the type. In short, Magikarp is as pathetic as it is hopelessly outmatched, but at least it evolves into something pretty awesome, right?
What is that?
Do you agree with our picks? Don't forget to check out The Bolt to E3, a brand new series from WatchMojo, where 4 gamers take an epic road trip from San Fran to LA, gaming all the way.